You're in a relationship with this woman, correct?
I am.
And her husband, correct?
Non-custodial family parenting permanency plan that will be marked as Exhibit 5.
Would I have some additional photographs to pass forward?
All right.
From 2000.
Honor, I want to warn the court, these are lewd photographs, to say the least.
From my locked files on Snapchat that he had to put in my code that only he and I know to get off.
Ms. Boyd, do you recognize these photographs?
Yes, they're from 2019.
And
When
they
we were
were
not together, we were separated, and he actually had full custody of Aiden, temporary full custody of Aiden at the time, but he was not seeing him. He just dropped him off
Ms.
with my
Boyd,
mom.
please limit your, I'm going to ask questions, okay? And you recognize these photographs. They're from your iPad, is that correct?
They're from my Snapchat. My Snapchat was not on iPad. He had to download it and pull these off for that. And his mother, and Terry Lynn has also on recording on my phone admitted to being the one to do that.
Okay, so Aiden uses this iPad, correct?
Aiden, they have that iPad, and Aiden, these photos were not on there until Thanksgiving of this year. They took it off that day. She admitted to it. But yes, he does use that iPad, and these were not on there when he did use them.
Okay.
I have it.
And so
There's
the
a
first
video.
picture, is that you? The picture with the, looks like a Batman tattoo?
That is me.
Is that you? Okay, and the next picture, is that actually a video?
That is a video from 2000, actually that's from 2018.
And is that a video of you?
That's a video that was locked on my thing, and it's not illegal or anything to have that locked in a locked thing where you have to have a passcode for.
It's not my question. My question is that a video of you?
There's many videos of Dylan as well on there.
And the third set of photographs, is that also you in these photographs?
That is also me in those photographs in a locked area where nobody can get to except for Dylan and Boyd and I.
But you admit that Aiden has access to this?
He does not have
iPad.
access to this. No, does not. These were not on the iPad until he took the iPad the day that he doubted his mom, which I have, again, a recording of her admitting to it over the phone of being the one to do so, to downloaded Snapchat on my iPad.
So
when they
these are
took
in
it.
your Snapchat?
Those are locked in my Snapchat on only my eyes, so you have to put a code in to be able to see them, a passcode.
So you send them to people?
Now, that in 2018, they were sent to a significant other.
What year were you married?
I got married in 2016. We separated in 2017. Our divorce started in 2018.
Your Honor, I'd ask that those be entered as the next exhibit.
Mark them as a collective exhibit. This will be 6.
Stop right there. Things just took a dark turn. The defense is trying to paint the mother as unfit by introducing private, lewd content into the record. Legally, the court has to determine if the child, Aiden, was actually exposed to this material. The mother is claiming her ex-husband's family essentially hacked her Snapchat to plant these images on an iPad the child uses. This is a classic he said, she said nightmare, but the judge is focusing on one thing: child safety. If the child had access to that iPad, the mother's defense of it was password protected might not hold water. What do you guys think? Is this a dirty litigation tactic, or is the mother being genuinely reckless with her child's digital environment? Drop a comment below. I want to hear your take on this digital evidence drama.
Ms. Boyd, do you recognize the document I've passed forward?
It is a text strand, and it was a text strand pulled from my phone, from the iPad, by linking the iPad to my phone.
Okay, and is this, are these text messages from you to someone else?
They're to me from somebody else.
Okay, and who are they from?
Significant other at the time. The significant other.
Okay, who is that significant other?
Name is Shelly.
Okay, Shelley what?
Arm Street.
Okay, and is that who you're living with now?
That is.
Okay, and so is she in the gray bubbles?
She is.
Okay, and you're in the green bubbles?
I am.
Okay, and do you know when or about, so this is November 25th. Is that when this text message, does that seem correct to you, when this text message would have been sent?
Yes.
And you're in a relationship with this woman, correct?
I am.
And her husband, correct?
I am.
And you're living with them now, correct?
I am.
Okay. And they have 2 children,
They have 3 children.
3 children? And those 3 children also live in the home?
They live in the home in separate rooms.
What do you mean they live in separate rooms?
They have their own rooms,
They have their own
have
bedrooms?
separate rooms.
Okay. So the children have, how many bedrooms does the house have?
Yes. The master bedroom, the living room, and then there are 3 other rooms and 2 bathrooms.
How many bedrooms does the house
The
have?
house has 2 bedrooms. The toddler sleeps in a baby bed. The
The house has
3-year-old.
2 bedrooms, so there's
Bedroom, the 2
three
bedrooms that are thing
adults.
of the back room is going to be turned into a bedroom. There is another room that's not used that is a bedroom that is not used as a bedroom right now.
There's 3 adults living in this home and 3 children plus Aiden, depending.
Relevance, please, on our sleeping arrangements for the children that
Your Honor, Miss,
You
I
just-
asked the questions.
You need to just listen to the questions she asked. If you have an objection based on a legal basis for an objection, you can object to the question because you're representing yourself. But other than that, you must answer the question rather than questioning why she's asking.
So my question was, there's 3 adults and at least 3 children full-time living in a 2-bedroom home, correct?
objection, because what's the relevance to this?
The relevance is the living conditions that the child, that Aiden would be living in, Your Honor.
This court, because this is a pending complaint for divorce, and although it's here on a restraining order issue, it nonetheless is still a question of whether or not this court will adopt a parenting plan and who should be the primary residential parent for this child. So it won't just be a parenting plan issue, or it won't be just a restraining order issue. It'll be also a question of whether or not, or what plan I put forward as to how this child is going to be parented. Part of that is going to be the respective environments that exist in your home as well as the home of Mr. Boyd, because I have to determine what's in the best interest of your son. So the question that Ms. McGill is asking you having to do with the sleeping arrangements is a common question to ask in these kinds of divorces. It has to do with how many people, you need to quit putting your hand up in the air if you're, I'm going to have you removed from the courtroom if you don't quit gesturing. The question becomes whether or not you have appropriate sleeping arrangements for all of the children, and that's a legitimate question, so you must answer that question. And I will overrule any objection.
Third room is being turned into a single room for Aiden. The one that was not used for a bedroom, it was just used for the storage and everything. It was only going to be turned into Aiden's bedroom. That is what we're in the process of doing. So that would be, Colin would have his own bedroom. Bella, the 12-year-old, will have her own bedroom. Aiden would have his own bedroom. And then we'll either put an add-on for the 3-year-old when she's able to go to her own room, or she will go with her sister Bella.
What room do you sleep in
I sleep in the master bedroom.
with the other 2
Yes, with,
parties? And the other 2 people are married, correct?
yes.
Okay. Do you use drugs, illegal drugs?
I do not use illegal drugs.
Okay. Let me pass forward this document. Can I ask that last?
You have not moved it, but I will have it moved as Exhibit 7, is that right?
Do you recognize this document of
I
password?
do. I also recognize seeing them on Dylan's phone as well. Like he did the same thing.
Okay, so is this you texting with somebody named Aaron Tanner?
It is me texting with somebody named Aaron Tanner. And he also, because of this, had police at his house and they only found legal THCA there because it's not illegal. It's all legal stuff that
Okay.
you could buy at a vape shop.
If you go down, just beyond halfway down the page, on where it says November 20th, is that you in the blue bubble saying, hey?
Yes, it's me. The
And
bubble
he
saying, "Hey."
responds, and then you say, do you have any more pot?
That's not what that says. That says wax and it is THCA. It is legal and it's Tennessee and taxes get paid on it. You could go to the vape shop right now and get some, at the gas station and get some.
Well, then if that's the case, then why are you buying it from someone named Aaron Tanner and not going to the
Because
vape shop?
it's $20 for it there or $50 at the shop.
And so you say, awesome, can I get a quarter?
Yes, and he's actually the one that picked it up.
So you get a quarter. This is November 20th of this year, correct?
For 20th of this year.
It's not this year. We haven't
Oh,
hit
I'm
the-
sorry, 2025, 2025. That's my
We
fault.
weren't separated until November 27th.
So you said, can you get a quarter? Correct? And a quarter is not wax, is it?
Yes, it is.
So it's your testimony that you're buying legal.
Yes, and I also have
THC
photos of
from
it,
this person.
and I have photos of it, and I have recordings of it with DCS, that's what it is. They have tested it, showing that that's what it is, and they have photos of it, showing that that's what it is.
And I'm going to pass forward.
So are you making this the next exhibit?
What I'm going to do is make them a collective exhibit, Your Honor.
Same thing.
So if, again, just a little bit further than halfway down the page where it says Sunday, June 22nd, you say, hi, do you have any green?
Mm-hmm.
How much is a quarter? $60. And that's you texting with him again, correct?
That is me texting with him again.
And is it your statement? Do you maintain your statement that you're just asking for legal?
I do.
Marijuana.
And that's what and there was a police document. He had gotten raided at his house and all they couldn't do anything. All they found was THC 8.
So,
They tested it and everything.
green, that's not wax, correct?
That is CBD marijuana. But because that's green and that's a whole different thing. That's honey. It's a jar of honey, which is what's considered wax, like beeswax. And then that's green would be the actual green part.
Recognize the next document I've passed forward.
Yep. Again, all the same stuff.
And you say, and this is on, do you have any carts?
Mm-hmm. Which you can buy those at the gas station right now too.
What are
But really
carts?
expensive. It's vapes, which were
And-
easy
and
for
this
Dylan to take to
person's-
work, which is why he liked to take them to work, which is why I needed one of those actually.
And this person is some sort of authorized dealer of this stuff?
He has a friend that has a shop and gets the stuff that they're not putting out or that they change out from. And that's the reason why he was not arrested when the police raided him and found all of it.
Recognize these documents?
Again, same stuff.
And stuff, and you're asking him for an 8?
Same thing.
Then you say you'll take it.
Mhm.
You picked it up.
Sometimes I picked it up, sometimes Dylan picked it up. Sometimes Dylan was the one that messaged him asking for it.
You recognize this that I've just passed forward?
I did.
And so you're going to meet your drug dealer at 3 o'clock?
And this was at Petro to meet Heather, and this one does not, if it was saying that it had the stuff and that was going to meet for that, then it would show what I was meeting for, and I'm not. This was somebody that I knew's parents too, that I helped help with their grandparents and everything with. So we'd meet up for other things than just that on many occasions.
So this is the same person, Aaron Tanner, that you've been buying this wax and legal THC from.
Legal,
Right.
all of it's legal, yes, and it's been tested
And-
by DCS.
Okay, but you're going to pick that up and then you're going to head straight there to pick up 80, correct?
I did not pick that up here. It shows here, I told you it would show what I was picking up and asking for it, and it does not show that here, which means I did not go to pick that up at 3 o'clock.
Okay. Your Honor, I'm going to ask that all those text messages be entered as the next exhibit.
Let them collect the exhibit. What is this? Eight.
Ms. Wood, are you currently working?
I am, I just started working last month.
Where do you work?
Raymont Kennels as a dog groomer.
Did you tell DCS that you were going to get a job with an insurance company?
I was looking into getting a job with an insurance company because I had not heard back from any grooming jobs. And then I heard back from this grooming job. So I then no longer took that offer from the insurance company for a remote job and took a grooming job because it pays better. And it's something that I was went to school for and that I know how to do.
How often do you work? What are your hours?
I work weekly and I work till I'm done. Like I usually no later than 2 p.m.,
What time do you start?
8 a.m.
Every day?
Every day, at least I'm off every other weekend for Aiden, and I'm off every other Monday and Thursday,
So you work Monday?
5 days a week,
Okay, and some weekends?
every other weekend.
Every other weekend, and 5 days a week, except that every other week
The
you are.
weekend that I'm off, I'd work the entire 5 days. The weekend that Aiden's not with me, that I am at work, I am then off that Monday and Thursday.
Okay, and what is your hourly income?
I get paid commission. I don't have an hourly income. I get paid what I groom.
Okay, and so you are there from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Mhm.
every day, grooming dogs that entire time?
Every day until I'm done. I'm there from 8 a.m. till I'm done.
Okay, and what time are you normally done?
It depends on the day. Like, you don't know, like some days I'm done at 10. I walk out of there with $200 at 10 o'clock. Some days I walk out of there with $300 at 2 o'clock. You never know what you're going to get with grooming. It's kind of like,
And you think that pays better than a job with at an
Well,
insurance
I
company?
can work 20 hours a week and make 1,500 for 2 weeks, make 40 hours in 2 weeks and make $1,500.
Have you done that yet?
I made $1,200 on my last paycheck and I didn't even have 20 hours on the 2-week paycheck.
Are you paying rent where you live?
I will be,
Are you paying rent where you
not at
live?
this moment because we've been saving up to get a lawyer.
Do you have a vehicle?
I do.
And are you making car payments?
There's no reason for car payments. It's already paid off.
Okay. And is that car in your name? Titled in your-
And they are withholding the title, actually. I paid it off with my own money and,
My
Dylan
question
and his
is
mother
the
own it.
car in your
it
name?
is not. It is in Dylan's grandfather's name because they are withholding the title.
And you drive that every day to work?
I will refuse to drive it until I get the title because I don't want.
How do you get back and forth to work?
I use one of the Arm Street's vehicles back and forth to work.
Okay, so you do not have a working vehicle of your
I
own?
do have a working vehicle. Well, I do. I paid for it, and I have text messages from Terry saying that she acknowledges that I paid for it and that the title will be in my hand. And that was 3 months ago, and she still has yet to get to hand over the title.
It's drivable, but you don't drive it.
Yes,
Do you have insurance on it?
I do not. I don't drive it. I do not. It's not in my name. I can't put insurance on it. I don't have a title for it.
Okay.
But once I do have that, and
How-
I have it registered, I will have insurance on it.
What vehicle do you use to pick Aiden up from school?
One of 3.
Of your
There's
boyfriends?
sometimes an Ford Excursion, sometimes a Cadillac.
Who owns
sometimes
those vehicles?
The Arm Streets.
Okay. And the Arm Streets are the couple that you live with and are engaged in a romantic relationship with, correct?
Correct.
So it's your testimony today that you have never hit or otherwise physically abused Aiden?
I have never physically, I've used to, before he got his autism diagnosis and I talked to a therapist and stuff and like how to like go with Aiden, used to get his butt popped or used to whip his butt. But I haven't done that in probably 2-3 years. Actually, the only person to whip his butt is when he needs a butt whipping is his father, because my hands, you can look at any x-rays and tell my hands are not capable of doing that. I can't even barely open and close scissors for work.
And has Aiden witnessed you and the Arm Streets having romantic encounters? Excuse me.
Maybe a pet kiss here and there and a hug and stuff, but no, he's never witnessed any of it. Anything else.
So if he's reported that he's heard noises coming from the bedroom while you were in it with the Arm Streets, that's not true?
The only way that would be is if it was, he came home from school in the middle of the day at that time.
Does he ride the bus?
He does not ride the bus, and he does not come to their house on the bus ever.
Did you read Miss Smith's report to Aiden?
I did not read Miss Smith's report. I sat him down and I asked him why. After reading the report, I sat him down and I asked him, because they are walking around telling him to say all these things to people and coaching him to say it. And so I asked him, I said, why, if you don't feel these ways, why are you saying this to everybody? And he said, because if I just do what they say, it'll take their power away and they can't bother me with this anymore, is what he said to me, and in tears.
Did you tell
I asked
him?
him, why are you saying these things?
Did you tell him that you were going to lose custody of him because of what he told Miss Smith?
I told him that.
Did you
because
tell-
I did not. No, ma'am, I did not say that.
Jeff, let me interrupt you for a second. Go back and tell me again exactly what Aiden said was the reason why he said those things.
Because he's trying to take away their power of making him feel this way by just doing what they say.
And you think, how old is Aiden?
Aiden is 9 and autistic and very impressionable.
And you think that's an expression that he would normally use, that he was going to take away the power of his father and these other people?
That is not something that he would normally use. He also was told that they told him he had to say these things on God, and God wouldn't like it if he didn't say them. He has said this in front of multiple witnesses and screamed it out that they're forcing him and everything over and over again.
All right. Excuse me for interrupting, counsel.
Thank you, Your Honor. Aiden met with Miss Smith at your house, correct?
He did, and she only talked with him. She didn't talk with me like she did with Dylan and Terry. And because her entire statement is what Terry said, and none of it has anything to do with anything backed up. It's just her recollection of what she thinks happened in my life when she was nowhere around.
Okay.
None of it, all of it is very sided to what paternal grandmother says, and none of it is backed up with any kind of proof, but I did bring the proof against it with me today.
Aiden has been wanting a snake, correct?
He has 4 snakes.
He's been wanting a python, correct?
He has always wanted them, yes.
Okay. Did you buy him a python within the last few days?
He went to the reptile expo and he was bought a ball python that he does not get to handle like that.
How much did that cost?
It was $100 and I did not pay for it.
It was $100? dollars
Mhm.
Do you have a receipt or anything for it?
Do not, it was at an expo. We don't have receipts there. They're vendors.
So if Aiden says it costs a lot more than that, is he lying?
He is lying, and I have other people that were there that saw the price, and I actually have a card that she came with in the car that shows her price on it.
How did you pay for it?
She was paid with cash, not by me. He was bought for us by the Arm Streets, actually.
The Arm Streets bought the snake. And what day did you buy that?
That would be Saturday, which is why Miss Smith didn't want to do his interview on Saturday and why it originally got rescheduled in the first place, because he had an expo that day and she didn't want him to miss it.
Miss Page, did you buy this snake for Aiden as a means to persuade him
No.
to say that he wanted to come to your house? That
I've been always wanting a cinnamon ball python and hadn't seen one in years, and they happen to have one, and I let Aiden choose which one of the 3 cinnamons he would like, and then I went and made my decision on it too afterwards. This had nothing to do with any of that, but he did tell me on the note of persuasion, he did tell me that his Chi-Chi bought him an oculist so that he would stay over there with her,
those are my
VR.
questions, Your Honor.
because that's what he's been asking for.
Ms. Smith, do you have any questions?
Now, DCS was involved with your family, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and when did they become involved? What month?
And I believe it was October. Yes, it was October, because then that's when he started staying over night times over at Terry Lynn's.
Okay, so in October, and you did have a psychological, correct? Did you, but you hadn't seen it till I sent it to you, correct?
Correct.
No, did you read it?
I did.
And I asked you yesterday about this, and one of the things is, the recommendations is therapy.
And I do have a therapy appointment this Thursday
Okay, when did you begin therapy?
in I believe December, early January, December. I got the recommendation from them in December, and I'm not sure if I believe the first appointment was in beginning of January.
Okay. And so
Not
how
so good with
often do you
dates.
go?
I was going bi-weekly, and I've been looking into finding somebody that can do evenings and do more of a weekly thing.
And have you, I don't guess you presented this psychological to your therapist.
Oh, I just got it today. Oh, like yesterday.
Okay. And was there anything in the psychological with which you disagree?
I would honestly love to retake the psychological assessment and not underneath the strain and the stress and the pressure of Dylan Boyd and Terry Cottrell.
You would like to redo the
I would love to,
psychological?
because I feel so much more like I'm not under attack or weight all the time now. I'm feeling like I'm not having to carry everything myself anymore, because with that distance from them. I'm feeling so much more mentally safe and healthy ever since then.
So there are things with which you would disagree.
There are a few things in which I would disagree. The anxiety one, I don't really have anxiety until outside of Dylan Boyd and Terry Cottrell and Jerry Donwood. Like they were, and in my therapy appointments, they have notified that it is a
As we wrap up today's look into this chaotic hearing, the legal picture remains blurry. We've seen the mother struggle to explain a cramped living situation involving a throuple, multiple drug-related text messages, and a psychological evaluation she desperately wants to redo. While she argues that her anxiety only exists when her ex-husband is around, the judge is clearly concerned about the stability of the home for an autistic 9-year-old child. The fight for Aiden is far from over, and the outcome will likely hinge on whether the mother can prove she's providing a safe, drug-free environment versus the allegations of coaching and bribery. If you found this case as shocking as we did, make sure to hit that like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more jaw-dropping courtroom breakdowns.
the anxiety is a trauma response to their ongoing mental and emotional and verbal abuse over years and years.
So, and I understand you had a traumatic childhood, correct?
I did.
Now, so you have consistently gone to therapy since the beginning of this year.
I missed a few appointments because of the ICE 2 of the appointments got missed because they rescheduled because of ice. And then afterwards, I had to find a new therapist because the therapist that I was seeing every single time, like the morning of my therapy appointments, I would get a text message from them saying that she wasn't able to meet and I'd have to reschedule. So then that's why I was like, I'm just going to find somebody in the evenings because it's easier to reschedule for evening appointments because I won't be able to worry about scheduling around work. I'll be there already. So that's why I ended up with an appointment this Thursday with somebody in the evening.
So who is that?
I'm not sure that there may be a new therapist. I'm not sure of this person yet. It's a lady. I know that.
And what group is she with?
Cornerstone.
Cornerstone?
Or Cornerstone right there in Dixon, right across from the
Okay,
fairgrounds.
Centerstone.
Centerstone, maybe, yeah. Get
So,
those mixed up.
so you haven't really been consistent since January with your
Trying to
therapy?
be consistent, yes, but I've continued to get rescheduled and canceled on by the same therapist.
Another recommendation was psychiatric treatment. Have you seen a psychiatrist?
I have before, and they wanted to put me on ADHD medication, but every time I'm on ADHD medication, I just feel like sick to my stomach and like I lose a lot of weight, and I just don't feel like a person on ADHD medication.
Another recommendation was intensive therapeutic support, which would include either a partial hospitalization program or a co-occurring intensive outpatient program. Have you looked
That's
into
the reason,
that?
another reason why I would like to reschedule that, because I've talked to people and I've talked to the therapist about whether I need it. And the therapist thinks that I do not. And I've talked to a caseworker too on there who is a psychiatrist who I saw after every therapy appointment and would go up there and see her. And she also said that she did not believe that I needed that. So
There's an objection. Sustain the objection.
you're saying,
It's you saying what someone else said.
that's all she stood there did.
But that would be something that you might be able to provide
I
proof
could
of.
provide proof for that. I can.
And you did have parenting classes,
I did.
correct?
I've taken parenting classes now twice because you have to do it during a divorce in the state of Tennessee. So I took them back in 2019 during our divorce, and I took one just back in 2025.
But I assume that you didn't provide that person with the psychological because
I didn't have it until
I
yesterday.
understand. Now, apparently, I think you testified that you did talk with Aiden about my report, correct?
I didn't talk to him about the report. I asked him after reading the report. I asked him why he's saying these things, which they're going around telling him to say these things. I didn't think it might have been. I might be wrong, but I didn't think it was going to be wrong for me to ask why he's saying it, since they're having him tell everybody. The last time we were in here, they were in the witness room having him bombarding my witnesses with making him say things. He had to look at his feet. He would not look at Terry. He refused to look at anybody in the face when saying it. But later that afternoon at dinner with that same person, he was in their lap, cuddling with them, laughing, playing, having games. But he is so stressed trying to recite what they're trying to get him to say over and over and over again that he just has to stare at Terry and basically ask her for cues the entire time.
Do you think that's appropriate, not just you, but for anyone, to talk with Aiden about this situation?
I did not think it was appropriate as long as they were doing it this entire time over and over again. So finally, yesterday, I just finally broke down and asked why he was doing it. Because they've been having him go around reciting him, saying, tell them about this, Aiden, tell them about this. And there is, if you guys have recordings of witness room from last time, there's a recording of her doing the same thing to him then. And so I was asking why, because I want to know why he was saying these things. And before it was a little too late to know, and he said, because he was trying to get the power taken away from them by doing what they say, is what he said. He said it in front of other people. There were witnesses.
Said he made that statement in front of people.
He did.
Now, his teacher, Miss Turner.
I do know her also, and I have her reports here on his IEP saying that he has actually downfalled since October going to Terry's. He had nothing but good reports or no comments until he went to Terry, started staying at Terry's, and then it's nothing but bad reports.
Now, do you understand that Aiden is very bonded with this teacher?
I understand completely that he is bonded with her.
And she with him. Do you think she's bonded with him?
I'm not sure. I don't know how much contact with Miss Turner. I know that she says that they're bonded.
So, and he confides in her, correct?
I'm not sure.
believe you testified earlier that he told his teacher, which I assume was Miss Turner, about some physical abuse.
Who testified?
I thought you had,
No, ma'am.
that he told the school.
Oh, no, he told, I testified that I've had meetings with the school because he is saying that teachers are doing this to him. So he has confided with me that teachers are hurting him, in which I had a meeting at the school about it, and they told me that that's not the case, and Aiden admitted afterwards that that's not the case.
How would you describe Aiden's personality?
He is very sensitive and overly sympathetic and empathetic, especially something you wouldn't expect from a kid with ADHD and autism. He is a little enigma, very quirky and peculiar. Like, he's very specific on how he wants things done in a certain time, certain way. But the most amazing kid.
He, in my experience with him, he rarely smiles. Is that your experience?
Not at all. I have photos showing that otherwise. He's super happy, playing outside, making forts, goofing off with other kids, making little forts.
What other kids?
The other kids that in the household. There's a 12-year-old and a 9-year-old and a 3-year-old.
But he was best friends with, I guess, the 9-year-old, Colin.
They still are. Just not at school because they see each other outside of school. And you wouldn't see a brother and two brothers hanging out all the time in school and outside of school. You wouldn't see two kids that see each other outside of school sitting there up hanging out with each other in school like they did before either. They both go opposite directions. They're sitting on opposite ends of the rooms in all their classrooms, so they don't get any contact with each other. When they go outside, Aiden sits down, and recently, at the beginning of the year, it wasn't like that. The lady in the IEP meeting on Friday, they stated that as of November, December area to now, he has increased on his antisocialness. So he sits there and doesn't, like, people come up and ask him to play, and he won't play with them. And that was something that was not really an issue before. They had dropped all this stuff in his IEP at the end of last year, during his IEP meeting, because he was doing so much better and he was doing so good at the beginning of this year, and then dropped. But you wouldn't expect two kids that play outside of school to sit there and be right up underneath each other at school as well. They also have other friends to play with. They're not arguing. They're not fighting at school. They're not arguing. They're not fighting at the house. I have photos and stuff of them actually hanging out and having fun at the house.
So the teachers didn't discuss with you that Aiden now, since Colin's gone, they're not friends anymore, doesn't have any friends?
The teachers did. The teachers and little Colin has actually stated their concern with the fact of Aiden's recent anti-socialism.
So you say that's recent?
Is recently started over the past few months, because they took that off his IEP at the end of last year and everything, because he was doing so good, making friends, chit-chatting like he was just one of the other guys, like he didn't have atypical autism.
Okay, well, thank you.
Recross, redirect, brother.
School?
Yeah.
And is he still at counseling at school?
I don't know. They took over that. I made him whenever his school therapist was no longer going to be at the school. I made him an appointment at Centerstone for a therapist to substitute that until they got another one for school. And Harry Lynn actually canceled that appointment and rescheduled another one, and then never took him to it.
At some point, did you cancel his counseling at school?
She asked if he wanted, at the end of the summer, she said, "Do you want to start Aiden's therapy back up?" I asked Aiden, I said, "Do you want to talk to Miss Nash this year once a week, or do you want to see how it goes?" He said, "I'd like to see how it goes." So I told her, and I have text messages where I told her Aiden wants to see how it goes, and then but can we add it if he needs it or anything, if he starts falling down at school again or socially. And she said yes. So, and I can produce the text messages for that as well. And then I also have messages where I asked her to start therapy back up again for him as well this past year.
You recognize this?
I do. He has been getting That's the reason why I didn't want him on the bus anymore. And Terry wanted to fight for him to stay on the bus. She said it was good social thing for him, but every time he's getting off the bus saying he doesn't want to get on the bus, he doesn't want to ride the bus anymore, saying that kids are beating on him, beating him
Hold
up.
on one second.
And there's actually a report from school where these kids did beat him
Hold
up.
on one second. Is this a text message between you and the school therapist counselor?
I'm not sure whose number that is. I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't memorize numbers, but it looks like something.
Do you remember?
This is, and then the next text message to me, which they neglected to actually add that in, is me saying, telling her that I sent her the email already about starting it up. But that they decided, they just coincidentally decided to cut that one off of this photo of my response to her about me already sending her an email about starting it back up and asking to start it back up in that text message as well.
Your Honor, I don't need to enter that.
We'll hand that back. You may. Ms. Smith, anything further? Thank you, Ms. Page. You may stand down. We're going to give you an opportunity when we're putting on your presumed testifying if you would. It may make more sense for you to go ahead and do it though while you're here and under oath. Do you want to testify about any part of this proceeding today other than what you've already said?
I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know exactly what that means.
Well, what that means is that you understand I'm here today to put down a parenting plan that's going to determine who is the primary residential parent for your son and what arrangements you each have as far as the split of time between you and Mr. Boyd, the father. So this is your opportunity as your lawyer. If you had a lawyer, they would put you on the stand to ask you questions that they felt like would demonstrate to the court why you know, whatever it is that you want me to do. So I guess what do you want me to do regarding your son?
I do not want to take custody away from father at all. Like in 2022, for his 6th birthday, he asked for mom and dad to get back together. So he asked me, begged me for it. And because he would never got to see his dad and like to see his dad. So I did that, even though I knew I wasn't gonna be happy doing it. I did it anyways. And then around October, November of this year, it was actually November 13th of this past year, he was making plans and for a month before that. And then at that day specifically, we were walking and he was making plans with all kinds of people on how he was gonna build him and mom a house so that dad could just go live with his Chi-Chi and mom and dad could be separated and him and mom would go live somewhere else and dad could like come and visit sometimes if he wanted to and all this. Like even Aiden was concerned about the relationship and the dynamic between his father and how his father was absent even though he was there and everything and how his father asking why dad hurts me at night and stuff. And also I have things that show where they're talking about me doing legal drugs that are legal, marijuana and CBDs and stuff for sleep and everything. I have videos and I have things of Dylan actually doing mushrooms and saying the reason why he couldn't watch Aiden when one night a month was because he was too busy trying to get high.
So are you wanting to introduce, what exactly is it you're referring to? Are those photographs?
These are photographs of text messages that I have 2 copies of for each.
Then you need to hand that to the bailiff. He's going to show Ms. McGill what you have and Ms. Smith. Allow them to review that and then I'll consider whether or not to make those an exhibit. If I understood you correctly, when you were testifying about those text messages between you and this individual that's been referred to as your drug dealer, that individual, you're buying, according to you, from Mr. Tanner, legal THC products?
Yes, and with this report, they had police raid his house and the police couldn't even arrest him because all of it was legal.
When did the raid occur?
I believe end of January, beginning of February. I don't know the exact date. I'm not
Why
sure
do
the
you
date.
say they had the police raided?
Because the police that stayed there was showing him the reports from text messages that they sent into the police from my phone.
Right.
The police officers told him that.
And the reason that you're saying that you are using, why are you using these drugs to begin with, legal or illegal?
I have ADHD and sometimes I can't go to sleep. Like I got things going on in my head, like thinking about everything I'm gonna do the next day and all the stuff that I have to get done, like homework that needs to be done, schoolwork work that needs to be done, dogs that need to be groomed. And so it's either the doctors wanted to prescribe me sleep meds. I did take the trial of the sleep meds, but I was almost like almost like it was a drug that completely impaired you. Like I was almost like I was drunk, and I don't drink, so I was not okay with that. And I've been drunk once when I was a teenager, and that was it. That was all for me. I was done. And so this medicine making it feel the same way, I wasn't for it. And then I had issues waking up the next morning as well with it. It was grogginess, oversleeping my alarm and stuff. So this just helps me go to sleep like a little. It's was actually recommended to me by the doctor.
Doc,
I'm a primary care doctor, and
And who is
Throuple
your-
recommended that I try CBDs.
what is the name of your primary care doctor?
She's no longer my primary care doctor. She doesn't work there anymore, but it was at St. Thomas in Centerville.
You don't remember the name of the doctor that
No,
told you?
this
to do
was probably 9 years ago that she recommended that.
All right. Next question I have for you is my understanding is, and these are the documents you want to introduce, correct? You indicated that, and I want to make clear, if I'm understanding correctly, you are involved in a relationship with this other couple, this man and this woman, and it is a relationship. The three of you are living together. Do you sleep in the same bedroom, the three of you?
Yes, which is,
And right or wrong, whether I agree or disagree with that, but is your son aware of that relationship?
just as where he was with his cousin, with his aunt, when his sister Taya lived with us, she was also in a throuple. She had a boyfriend and a girlfriend, and that was not an issue then. He knew all about it. She'd tell stories about it and everything when he was 6 years old. And all he knows about this is that mom has a boyfriend and mom has a girlfriend. He sees them, he plays with them, they go to the park together, he enjoys time spent there. That's all he knows. He doesn't know any details or anything because he is a 9-year-old boy.
You had these two text message photos that you wanted to introduce. One is from April 19th. It doesn't show what year. Can you tell me what year?
It'll show a different year if it wasn't in the past 12 months. So it would have been 2025.
What are you saying that these documents represent?
They're trying to say that I was using drugs and everything, and that Dylan wasn't, and that shows representation that Dylan was the reason why Dylan couldn't watch his son for one night a month was because he was too busy trying to get high.
All right.
And this was just this past year.
So this is between you and Dylan?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because it basically says that when are you coming home? Hi, I'm not sure yet. Aunt Karen and Mona go back to New Jersey. We're supposed to go see them today. And his response was, okay, let's do this afternoon because me and Hammy, who is Hammy?
His best friend.
Me and Hammy are about to microdose some mushrooms from Marley's. So by that time, I'll be sobered up enough to go visit. And you said, never mind. Like I said, I will just go. I'm not going to go there at 10 o'clock at night the day before Easter. Then the next one is in May. And what does this one on May show?
It's showing where he was supposed to be. For months, we had a plan for us to go to a little girly concert with my best friend. And for like 3-4 months had already been planned. And he agreed to watch Aiden that night. And he lived in the same household with him. But then he never wasn't at the house. He was with his friend doing drugs instead.
All right. And this one starts on May 22nd at 9:20 p.m. And it says, why are you not going home? You have the responsibility of Aiden one night in months. We had planned for 3 months, Dylan. Why couldn't you have just hung with Hammy tomorrow after work instead of the one day I relied on you? Your response was, his response was, I just wanted to get high real quick. We're about to go. Then on Friday, May 23rd, the next day, you said there was weed at the house, ! About when will you be off? And I need you to let me know like an hour or so before you get off so I can go to get Connor's ducks from Dixon and your mail from your mom's before I get you from work. Okay. He says, okay, baby, I'll look once I finish this area. I love you. Right. And you want to make those an exhibit. Mark them as exhibit. Elected next in order. You may, but we're going to let her finish what she has to say, then you can cross-examine her. Because she's putting on her proof at this point in time. Anything else that you want me to consider in your case?
Dylan's admitting to his abuse and stress that he was given it through text message, talking about how
Do you have more text message photos you wish to introduce? They need to be shown to the bailiff, and the bailiff needs to show them to the opposing counsel. If you have others that you intend to introduce, let's just show them all collectively, and then they can review them before we introduce them.
There's this one where he left me in 37-degree weather in a parking lot at Dollar General for hours.
Just show them to them, and then we'll let you explain what they are.
Oh, this goes to the end of that other one, the first one, so I'm so sorry. I dropped it. And photo of my back after he forced middle of the night while our son was 3 feet away. And photos. And proof right here on Miss Smith's account saying that about the ghosts and about being evicted. This is the person that we lived in the house with at the time. His name's Derek Whedon. I was in a relationship with him for like 3 years while we were separated, and he was with another lady named Summer. And showing where she was saying that there was Aiden saw ghosts because I said that ghosts were going to attack him because we were getting evicted. And this is proof that that never happened and that there was no sign for 4 years of no sign of any abuse towards Aiden with witnesses. And that's an ex who you would normally think wouldn't have your back, but knows, but is willing to say the truth. Here, photos of Aiden playing and happy and smiling with us and playing with the kid that apparently he's not friends with when they just sit there and play Roblox together and play outside and make forts together. And
All right, I'm going to take a recess and step off. Anything that
would you like me to
have,
give you the second
just
copy
wait
to all
till I'm
those?
talking, and you just stop talking when I'm talking. Anything that you have that you intend to introduce in this hearing in the way of a document, you need to just show it to them so that we can speed up this process. And you don't have to explain to me what it is, but you just need to, you can step off the witness stand, go to the table, show them these documents so that when we come back, we can streamline this process. We'll stand a recess for, I guess, about 15 minutes, and then we'll come back.
All right.
That was a text message. They didn't bring somebody in to testify that that was.
But those were text messages involving you, and it included statements that you were making.
These are
But what the problem with the last document that I sustained an objection to is that you were seeking to introduce what he says by making self-serving statements of your own. You're saying, you know, you're asking him questions about this ghost situation and in any event.
Well, I would just want to know because they said that in her report, she has as fact that I was evicted, but she has no proof or anything. So that's technically hearsay from Terry Lynn, but it was able to be sustained in court. That's why I'm curious about
A
it.
report is not evidence. It's simply a report by the guardian ad litem assigned to it. And you need to understand, well, I'm willing to try to give you some guidance. You're on your own. You've had the opportunity to hire a lawyer. You have not been quiet. You have not done so. And as a result of that, you're bound by the same rules of evidence that the other side is bound by. So if you have an objection to any of their others, you should make it. If you don't, then we need to go forward. What else you want to hear? What else you want to produce?
I had to provide a lawyer for myself. I didn't have my mom paying for it like he did, and I had to find a job because I was
And
about
I
to have
don't
a
need
job
to-
while I married
I
him.
don't need you to explain anything. I'm simply stating you've been given an opportunity to hire counsel. You're not entitled to appointed counsel, and as a result of that, all right. So here we have a statement or a text message that is from Dylan, and this is from Dylan to you.
It was from Dylan to me.
All right. That would be admissible because it's a statement of a party opponent, and it's on November the 7th, November the 9th. What is it you're asking? Why is this relevant? This is the one where it says, what do I need to do because I'm about to freeze to death?
That is where he left me for hours in a parking lot at Dollar General in 37-degree weather to go hang out at his mom's house and to do things at his mom's.
Okay. I'll mark that as the next, we'll make these a collective, any that I will allow that one. This is another message from Dylan to you, April 19th. What does this one show? Why is it relevant? Well, this is the same one that you had talked about earlier, where it says that Mr. Boyd was talking about him and Hammy were about to microdose some mushrooms from Marley's and go, I don't think we've made that an exhibit. Did we make that an exhibit?
And this is where this one is.
I'm going to make these a collective. These would be admissible.
This is one where I am basically begging him to just be a dad or a part of the family, and he's telling me I should. And where after he had tried to throw me to the ground, and he's saying that I should just have him arrested and all this, and then me basically begging him why it's got to be that way just to get anything done. Those are all separate.
When was this series of text messages?
in September 16th.
What does this show in this series that you feel like is relevant?
This is where they're talking about that I've been the one showing abuse and neglect and stuff throughout it, and this is him admitting to the fact that he was actually doing that, and that he was admitting to not being there as a parent or as a spouse, and also throwing me to the ground, trying to throw me to the ground, physically.
I'll allow those to be exhibited.
Eh.
We're making a collective exhibit, so I'm not actually,
Which one
so
was
the
that?
collective exhibit
All three of
10.
them. So the one is where they're saying Aiden doesn't smile, and that's what we get out of Aiden all the time, and how Colin and Aiden don't hang out, and that's what they're like all the time. They right up each other's butts almost all the time. And then the other one is a photo of my back after Dylan once at one of the times he forced on me while 3 feet away from our son. That's the reason why our son would ask why he hurt me at night.
All right, I'm going to take this set of text message photos and make them a collective exhibit 10. Is that what you said? Then the next documents you're asking are 2 photos, one of 2 boys laying on a couch.
Yeah, they're laying on the bed, shit hanging out, very annoyed that mom came to take a photo and bother them, but that's them all the time. They're either
Yes.
playing Roblox, outside playing, building forts, playing up on the trampoline.
All right, this is the one I'm talking about. This
That's
is
the kids that they say don't get along and can't play together.
We will mark
that's
that as
them.
exhibit 12. 11. And then you had another photograph of a child.
Smiling. They say Aiden doesn't smile anymore, but this is what we get all the time.
And
This
this
is
is
Aiden all the
Aiden?
time. Yes, sir. Aiden all the
Mark-
time.
mark
Big old
this.
happy smile.
We'll mark this as a part of the collective exhibit 11. And then this other photograph is of,
It's my back after Dylan on me while 3 feet away from our son, as he did multiple times, especially closer to the end of our relationship this
how
past
did
year.
that, how did the red marks on the back?
From his arm.
We'll mark this as exhibit 12. Can you keep up? All right. Anything else that you want to?
No, sir.
So that concludes all of the exhibits. Is there anything else you want to say before we allow the other side to cross-examine you again? So,
I'd like to also correct the thing, because I said it was I don't know if somebody heard me say that it was a 2-bedroom house we lived in, but it's technically a 4-bedroom house and it's have another room put to it also. I don't know if maybe I didn't know if that got put in as it's a 2-bedroom house, but it is a 4-bedroom house with 2 bathrooms.
all right. But currently, are they all 4 being used as bedrooms?
One of them is going to be used as Aiden's bedroom. It is not being used as a bedroom right now because Aiden has not been cleared to stay there, but it will be used as Aiden's bedroom completely.
Miguel, you wish to ask any additional questions based on her testimony up to this point?
Are there 2 rooms being used as bedrooms right now?
There are 3 rooms out of
Right
4
now, are there 2
3
rooms?
rooms being used as bedrooms right now out of 4 bedrooms.
Okay, so you're in the master. The Armstead's children are where?
Colin is in Colin's room. Bella is in her own room. And Lillian will be in Bella's room. She is in a crib right now.
Where had Aiden stayed?
Aiden will have the 4th room.
Okay. And has he stayed overnight there in the past?
He has had 2 sleepovers before this whole thing even started with Colin, with little Colin.
Not since you've moved, so since
No,
you've moved
since
into
I've
the
been
house,
there,
he's
he has
not.
not slept over there.
Okay. Back to your exhibit 10. There's a text message between you and Mr. Boyd where he says that he's going to microdose some mushrooms, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And he says that he got from Marley's.
Yes.
What's Marley's?
It could be a person or it could be a shop. I'm not sure.
There's a vape shop named Marley's, correct?
A vape shop, yes, but that doesn't have anything to do with mushrooms.
Do you know anybody named Marley?
I mean, I know a few people named Marley, actually.
Okay.
We actually went to school with 2 Marleys.
Okay. And so is that someone that, so when he said Marley's, did you know what he was talking about?
Not instantly, no. Marley's is a vape shop where you go get vape stuff and like other things like that. You don't go there and get mushrooms.
Okay.
Mushrooms aren't a thing you go and get at the store.
That's my question, John.
Ms. Smith, anything? Thank you, ma'am. You may step down. Do you not, you have a short witness, Ms. McGill? I assume you're. That's fine. All right. What's her name?
Did we start
You'll
today
come
with
right up here,
exhibit
please,
1?
ma'am. I'm not worried about that. Raise your right hand, be placed under oath.
Ms. Cottrell, could you state your whole name for the court?
Terry Lynn Cottrell.
Okay, Cottrell. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
And how are you related to Mr. Boyd?
I am his mother.
And Aiden's paternal grandmother then, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And do you currently are Aiden and Mr. Boyd living with you?
Yes.
Okay. And tell me about your house. How many bedrooms does it have?
It has 4 bedrooms,
Okay.
2.5 baths. And we are currently converting our garage, which is 25 by 25, into a apartment with another bathroom.
Who all lives in the house besides you, Mr. Boyd, and Aiden?
A husband,
Okay. And what's his?
Jeremy David Cottrell.
Okay. And is that here in Dixon?
It's in Burns.
Burns.
Yes.
Okay. And how long have you lived there?
Since 2020.
Tell me about how involved you've been with Aiden since his birth. I mean, just quickly.
As much as I could be as a grandmother when he was a baby. And then
How often did you see him when he was a baby?
often.
Once a week, once a month?
Weekends,
Okay.
because I worked professionally Monday through Friday.
Okay. What do you do for a living?
I was an executive manager over physician practices for 11 years for St. Thomas.
Okay. And what do you do now?
I now own a spa,
Okay.
and I've done that since 2015.
Okay. And so you saw him pretty much every weekend?
I wouldn't say it would be every weekend, but as often as I could on weekends.
Okay. Over the past, let's say more recently, say last 2 years, how often have you seen Aiden?
Very often.
Okay.
Spent the night with me in vacation, like when they're out of school for break. He would spend days with us. We have a pool. He would come over, swim, had birthday parties at our house. He lived with me.
How long have Mr. Boyd and Aiden been living with you?
They officially moved in Thanksgiving Day.
Okay. Prior to that, where were they living?
They were back and forth. They had the opportunity to live at our house, but majority at a small camper on Catherine's mother's property.
Okay. So their maternal mother's property, there was a camper on it that they were living in?
A 200 square foot light pool behind camper.
Okay. How often were you seeing Aiden when they were living there?
On weekends, if they wanted him to spend the night, or we would ask for him.
Okay.
I would say the normal, I don't know how to quantify it, but a normal grandparent visit and spend the night.
Okay. Have you been involved in the past 2 years? Have you been involved in any of Aiden's physician's appointments?
Yes.
Okay. And tell us about that. Do you go to every appointment or?
No, I've supplemented in the past, and here recently I've been more involved.
Okay.
Almost every appointment. I always assist just because when Aiden was first diagnosed, and I'm going into something, so stop me if it's too much. He lived with us for a year, his first grade year. And during that time, I was solely responsible for him Monday through Friday in his schooling and his education. And
What grade is he in now?
he is in 3rd grade.
So in first grade, for that whole school year, he lived with you?
After the first 12 weeks, he came to us. He came to us in truancy. So I had to navigate from Davidson County to Burns immediately so that the truancy wouldn't kind of counterbalance his schooling. So they took him quickly in.
Okay.
And he immediately moved in with me.
Was Mr. Boyd living with you?
No, they were trying, this was an opportunity for them to get ahead, to buy a home
Okay.
in Burns.
Okay. And so they all, by agreement, Aiden was living with you,
Yes.
and Mr. Boyd and Miss Page were living somewhere else.
They had, yes, we put them as a residence and we had space for them to live with us. It just wasn't chosen for them to do.
So first grade, obviously, if he was living with you, you were very involved with his school, his teachers, and that sort of thing?
I was fully involved.
Okay. And did Aiden do well that year?
It was the most exemplary year he had.
Okay. Okay. And then last year, so for second grade, he was back with his parents living in the camper mainly?
Yes.
Okay. And then now since November, he's been back with you?
Yes.
Okay. And you said that you've gone to the doctor's appointments. Are you still in contact with his teachers
Yes.
and school staff?
Yes.
Okay. What have you noticed? Well, let me start with this. Has Aiden ever told you that his mother physically?
Yes, on multiple occasions.
Okay. What has he told you that he's done to you? To her? Or him, I'm sorry.
Once, well, I was notified by his second grade teacher that she had called the police. So that led me to ask him questions. And he told me that there was an incident with an iPad where his iPad was broken. And he ran out to his Uncle Hunter because he was really afraid that when his mom woke up and she saw that his iPad was broken, that she would retaliate. And he came in to ask her questions, and she drug Aiden out and had him say that it was him that he broke the iPad. And he said, I was very confused because I don't remember breaking the iPad. I woke up to the iPad being broken, but I don't remember any of that. And he said, after that, Mom said, get back into the camper.
Okay, but
We're gonna talk.
let's focus on,
Yes.
did he tell you that she hit him or pushed him
Well,
or beat him?
this is the start. So he said, as soon as they got into the camper, she picked him up and threw him onto the couch and started to yell. And she said, that's what happens when you tell people things about me.
Okay.
And then Dylan came in and she comes behind him and she is just saying, how could you humiliate me? All the parents know, all the teachers know. I don't care if I didn't give you your medication. And you can't use ADHD as an excuse. You should have better control over yourself. And whether you had your medication or not, that is not any excuse for you to act the way you did today. And he said, but I didn't have my medication and I couldn't help it. And she said, yes, you can, because you purposely humiliated me. You did this intentionally.
Did you see her take him into the bathroom?
You can't see the bathroom because it's an ensuite of the master bedroom.
Okay, so you didn't see that?
No,
Okay.
did not.
When Aiden came to live with you in November, did he bring an iPad with him?
He did.
Did you go onto that iPad and look through it to see what was on it?
I did when it was presented to me for what was on it. Yes.
Could we pass forward exhibit, is it 1, the child's backside? Do you recognize this?
I do.
And how do you recognize it?
I'm the one that found it on the iPad.
Okay. Was it in some locked, did you transfer any photographs from Miss Page's TikTok or any other app to the iPad?
No, when I initially got access to the iPad, I panicked because we were more focused on the affair and there was images immediately open that Aiden had saw. And I said, before she deletes this, I'm going to send this to my phone because I'm a female and I feel like I'm the safest person, so no one else will see this. And I did. And then it occurred to me to immediately put the iPad on airplane mode, which would put it in a lock mode. I wouldn't be able to alter it, but neither would she. And turned off Wi-Fi and Bluetooth so that it kind of stayed in just a stationary, like a picture book, basically, at that point.
Okay. Did you download anything onto the iPad?
No, you can't do that when it's on airplane mode.
Were those photographs in the photograph album, just like the typical place you go to your phone or your iPad to find photos?
Yes, there were, I think, nearly 9,000 photos on the iPad.
Okay. And so did you find that photograph on the?
Not on that day, but yes, I was searching because there were multiple things, including her having and things that I didn't want Dylan to see. So I took on the responsibility of going through the photos for the divorce, to be honest with you. And there were just so many photos, and I literally stayed up till 3 o'clock in the morning and just went photo for photo for photo and found this.
Okay. Did you ask Dylan about it?
I did.
Did you? And what did he?
Dylan did not recognize the photo. He was upset, visibly upset. And I said, I feel like I need to back up. I was gutturally upset over this, but also relieved because it proved and corroborated his stories that he has told throughout the years. And so I felt like we needed to immediately ask Aiden to identify if this was him and this was the story he told.
Okay.
And so I asked Dylan to follow me and to record me. Well, I asked Aiden.
Okay. And what did Aiden tell you?
He's autistic, so he's very matter of fact. And I said, Aiden, do you recognize this? And he goes, yes, that's the story I told you about. That's my bottom.
Okay.
And I said, okay. And I said, he goes, see that right there? He said, that's the spatula. He said she had two kinds. One was long and one was weird shaped.
The schedule that they've been on, Mom brings Aiden back to the house at what time?
7 p.m.
Okay. And does he have his homework done?
No, mostly not.
Okay. Is he bathed and ready for school the next day?
No, he is not.
So the routine, has he eaten?
Yes.
Usually eaten. What is your routine then? Or and his father, I assume, is involved in this also?
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
So what is the routine then when Aiden gets home does Miss Page drop him off?
She does.
Okay. And what's the routine?
I'm hands off, but I'm also there.
Okay.
So it's instinctually for me to be a part of that because he lived with me for a year, and I'm enjoying my time with him. But he typically would come in hyper dysregulated a lot of times with soda and candy, and we couldn't get him to settle. So our first thing would be is he needs to bring his backpack in. And we've been trying to set responsibilities for him to put it in a certain place, put his shoes in a certain place, and then plug his laptop in to charge it. And then Dylan would pull out his folder. There's a red folder that comes from the teacher, and it has homework. And we would often see that homework wasn't completed, or we would ask him, did you do your spelling words today? And he would say, no, Mom says that I don't have to do them through the week, that I can wait till the end of the week, or I didn't know I needed to do those things. And so often, if we could get him in the right mindset, we would go over things or try to complete things, especially if they were timely. And there's an app called Dojo where you can talk to the teacher. So Dylan and I both would message teachers back and forth to try to figure out timelines and when these things needed to be turned in, and if it needed to be the next day or could it be at the end of the week. And was there a test for it? Because a lot of times there was documents that weren't in the folder that we should have been privy to as well. That has been changed because the teachers have realized that we get duplicates or they post them on Dojo for us to see now. So that's been very helpful. So no, mostly not. And he struggles with reading and ELA, English Language Arts. And that is where he has the majority of homework, some math, but he's really good with cruising through his math.
Is he involved in any extracurricular activities?
No, not currently.
Does he want to be?
Yes,
What does he want to do?
he wants to do Boy Scouts with his dad.
And is his dad agreeable to that, as
Yes,
far as you know?
his dad was in Boy Scouts to Weeblo, and he very much enjoyed it. And Aiden and his father are very similar in nature, temperament, and the things that they like. And he wanted to learn about outdoors, and when he learned that he gets badges to when he learns to achievements to live in the wilderness and all of that, he's super excited to be a part of that.
Have you looked up the schedule for
The local sheriff is involved in that. From my understanding, the principal said that there's not a chapter here at school. It does have during the week meetings and then some weekend activities. So we honestly have been holding off because we didn't want to set Aiden up for the expectation of that and then not be able to follow through because we didn't have the schedule to accommodate it.
Okay, because do you know what time the meetings are?
No,
But there's at least one meeting
Yes,
during the
of
week? Okay.
Ms. Smith, you need opportunity to go to lunch before your hearing.
We can, it's got to be close. Oh, it's after 12, Your Honor.
Whenever you finish your direct, we're going to break
Okay.
for lunch.
Have you witnessed Mr. Boyd, since obviously he's been living with you and him and Aiden have been living with you since November? What have you witnessed about Mr. Boyd's parenting?
Aiden and Dylan, like I said, are same temperament. Dylan is a very calm and gentle parent. They build Legos, boy stuff. They are both homebodies. They like to stay, as Aiden calls it, chillaxing. So once responsibilities are done, during the week, backpacks are checked. Dylan typically goes right into bath. He gets a bath every other night because he has a skin condition. So it's
Dylan does or Aiden does?
Aiden has a skin condition.
Okay, and
so
Mr. Boyd bathes him every night?
He puts
Oh,
him in
every
the-
other night.
Every other night. So
Okay.
in the ensuite, there's a jacuzzi, bathtub, or shower. So Aiden gets to choose which one. And he knows that that encroaches into time. But sometimes he chooses to take a long bath.
What's bedtime?
8 o'clock to 8:30 is the preference.
Does Mr. Boyd put him to bed?
Yes,
Who gets Aiden up?
Mr. Boyd,
Okay. Who gets him ready for school?
Mr. Boyd,
Who takes him to school?
Mr. Boyd.
Okay. And Mr. Boyd works a full-time job?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know what his hours are?
He has started a new job. He took to accommodate the new hours for
Okay.
Aiden's schedule. So it can now, he makes his own hours. So basically he has a work vehicle. He will drive Aiden to school, drop him off, and work until school is out. And Aiden will most likely ride the bus home, but he's always done that. And he actually enjoys it. And then Dylan will be home for him. And if Dylan is not there, I will be, because I own my own business and there are certain days of the week that I'm available.
In the last many months, have you witnessed Mr. Boyd drinking to excess?
No,
Have you just witnessed him drinking at all?
No.
Alcohol at all? Have you ever thought that he was high or on drugs?
no.
Those are my questions, Your Honor.
And we're going to give Ms. Boyd, or Ms. Page rather, an opportunity to cross-examine, but we're going to do that when we resume. We're going to stand at recess for lunch. As I indicated, Ms. Smith has a hearing at 1 o'clock downstairs in juvenile court. So when she's finished with that, we'll be waiting on her to come up, and we'll resume at that point. So I'll remind you all that
When Judge Wolf came back, he said that they have to resume on Friday because they didn't have enough time in this day to finish the testimony. So I will be there on Friday recording everything, and I will have that up for you guys within 24 hours. Thanks for watching.